Spinel had laid out splayed on the couch, lifting herself up when the gems came warped back, holding new weapons, much to her silent surprise. "Hey, Spinel!" Stephen ran up to the pink gem as Garnet and Amethyst tried to get the pink giant axe through the door. Spinel got up and hugged Stephen. "Hey, sweetie, how was the..." She trailed off for a moment. "Battlefield. It was amazing. Your history is amazing. Lion even found Rose's scabbard, Stephen proclaimed. Spinel's eyes went wide. "He did?" She then turned to face Pearl, who was still holding the scabbard close to her. She ran over and inspected the pink scabbard, running through her fingers on it. "Wow, it's been so long." Pearl unexpectedly softly smiled. "It has." Confused by both Pearl and Spinel's behavior, Stephen walked towards them. "Pearl, Spinel? What was Mom like?" Pearl and Spinel looked at each other and then shared a smile, with Pearl starting first. "Oh, Stephen, she was courageous and brilliant and beautiful. She thought of the whole world was like a planet in its life. We could never have thanked her enough," said Spinel, gazing at the painting of Rose. Both the gems slide blissfully, remembering the good times with War Rose Quartz. Of course, Pearl chuckled. "You almost look like her." For a split second, Spinel shot a weird stare before backed away. "Really?" Stephen mumbled under the three of them, which was a commotion behind them. Spinel rolled her eyes as Pearl handed Stephen the scabbard. "Hey, Stephen, maybe you should keep this." Stephen held the sword holder in his hands in awe. "Whoa, thanks, Pearl. Guess what, Spinel? You don't have to worry about me. I'll just bop anything that tries to eat me." He swung the scabbard around. "Actually, Stevie," Spinel gently grabbed the scabbard. "This is what held the sword." Stephen then tilted his head cutely. Where is the sword?" Spinel became quiet. Eyes grew wide and shifting into the pink gem, giving her back and not knowing what to do. "Look." Pearl thought for a moment, what seems to be like to think of something. Just as Garnet and Amethyst finally got the axe inside, they all left, leaving the three alone. "Can you keep it a secret?" Pearl asked. Stephen nodded excitedly. Pearl and Spinel gave a silent nod to each other, and Spinel spoke. "This secret is so secretive, we haven't told Garnet or Amethyst. We know a place where Rose keeps her weapons." "But you have her gem now," Pearl rudely cut her off. "That place is yours, and we can show it to you, if Spinel's willing to do so." Spinel nodded, calmly and slightly annoyed. Okay," Stephen complied. Warping into the cannon, Pearl and Spinel and Stephen looked around. "Now," Pearl began, "it's just like a 3-hour hike that way, followed by a vertical climb at least 90 degrees. Spinel slightly shrugged. "It doesn't sound too bad. What do you say, honey?" Stephen was flattered as Spinel noticed this and looked up at Pearl, grinning to cheek. Pearl then caught on what she was thinking. "Spinel keeps telling me that she used to be an entertainer for my mom." "But what did Pearl do?" Stephen asked. A bendy arm coiled around him while climbing. "Peach," Moonstone replied, Pearl's voice being heard over her. "I was a soul conflict, for the words that she couldn't share with anyone else. I was there to listen." "Hey, that's what she told me those things too." Now Spinel's voice was heard. "Why did she have to keep so many secrets?" "Because she's a great leader," Spinel's side replied. "She had to keep some things hidden because she cared about protecting the gems that she loved. Except me and me." Stephen sighed as they bickered. It got to the point where they unfused and released Stephen. A panicked Spinel quickly caught him before he could meet his demise. Arriving at the flooded cave, the trio walked inside to see the pet lion had taken Steve and Connie to 2 weeks ago. "Welcome to Rose's secret armory," Pearl and Spinel both announced, gaining a wide grins from when they saw Stephen's amazement. "Whoa, I've been here before." Stephen then ran up to the platform, the gems all smiling with confused looks. "What?" Pearl started, but trying to brush it off. "You must be thinking of someplace else. She and I were the only crystal gems that witnessed such an armory's magnificent before now." Well, even Spinel was starting to get suspicious. "If you've been here, who took you?" "Lion did." Pearl nearly shoved Spinel out of the way. "The lion?" Stephen nodded, walking over towards the center of the platform, the floor glowing pale pink in hand-heart shape, a pastel erected up. "Yeah, there's all kinds of great stuff hidden in here. Like what? Spinel inquired, standing beside Stephen and Pearl behind her, who reached over. Here, I can show you how to access the artillery. That's great. I can do it without you. Stephen placed his hand on his pistol. Nothing happened for a moment, but Stephen remembered something. All right. He poked his cheek and a set of axes appeared from the ground. We got some axes. The axes of ages? Pearl questioned, Spinel looking quite shocked. Oh, we got Spiky Chain Lady over here with her metal dealies. Oh, the heretic Siguish. Oh, and we got, free packs of laser light cannons. The Quartz Trio. Pearl was getting very visibly irritated. Boop, and there's a whole lot of these armor guys. The armor of the fallen? Lynn, what now? Spinel tried to keep her friend calm and turned to Stephen. All we're looking for is Rose's sword. What does it look like? Asked Stephen. Pearl frustratedly made a hologram showing the sword, and it was a straight blade saber that is pink with a red handle. These are the vines that itch onto the guards that connected the rose-shaped pommel. Stephen then recognized the sword. Oh, I know where that is. With a hologram sword turning into an exclamation mark, Pearl and Spinel faced Stephen, dumbfounded. Huh? Stephen then sung a little song as he pulled out the sword out of the lion's mane. Here it is! Spinel gasped. Pearl stared. Rose's sword? How did it get here? I don't know, Stephen replied while he was handing the sword towards Pearl and placing it onto the scabbard. I keep this stuff here too. Spinel then stood closely to him. What did you find in there? Stephen cowered slightly. I just found Rose's stuff. How did you get in? Spinel asked, trying to stick her hand in the lion's mane, only for the giant cat to growl at her. Pearl had only had her hand to her chin. Does the lion have something to do with Rose? Oh, of course. That's why he's pink, MFS joked. Garnet remains stagnant to this. It's pretty obvious, but, Pearl mumbled, Rose didn't have a lion? Spinel then looked at her. But Stephen said he found Rose's stuff in there. No, Rose didn't have a lion, Pearl flouted, her face becoming blue with frustration. Because if Rose had a lion, I would have known about it. Spinel's pigtails and flattened by this. Rose kept many things in his secret cave, even away from us, said Garnet. But not from me, Pearl shouted, her tears filling the eyes. I was the one who she told everything. Pearl then suddenly gasped deeply and glowed at Spinel. You! She grabbed her by the shoulders. Did you know the lion? No, Spinel retorted fearfully. I mean, I was a little suspicious about the pink lion, but Rose didn't tell me about him either. MFS began to get irritated. Well, leave her alone. You know she misses Rose too. You can't understand how I feel, Pearl directed at MFS. I understand! Spinel screamed, grabbing Pearl by the collar. We go way back, Pearl, longer than Garnet and Amethyst. I know how you feel about Rose. I saw how happy you were with her, and I saw how mad you were with Rose when she met Greg. I saw it all! Stephen was now terrified, hid behind the lion. Pearl, who stared at the pink gem with wide eyes, remained quiet and tears began to fall. Spinel realized what she just said. Pearl began to brawl, holding Spinel close into a tight hug. Everyone else in the living room stood there, not knowing what to do. Spinel separated herself from the pale gem. You want to talk? Pearl nodded desperately, still sobbing, leaning against Spinel as they headed towards the warp trap pad. Fine, go on, go cry about it, Amethyst shouted after them, only to be silenced by Spinel's cold glare. Won't be for too long, she said, as they warped away. Amethyst groaned and muttered, I hate it when they get all into a fight like this, and then walked away. Garnet? Stephen then cautiously stepped into the magenta gem. Garnet didn't reply. Should I? No. Stephen blanked. What? Let Spinel handle this, said Garnet. She knows Pearl better than anyone else. I thought I knew everything. Pearl vented, with Spinel now sitting inches away from her. Spinel now hugged her legs to her chest. Me too. But I guess I wasn't too professional with her. You even loved her. Pearl's blue eyes then slimmered with tears. And she left me for Greg. Spinel sighed. Love still affects you. It can make you happy, jealous, lonely. It's a nice feeling, but it's also a weird feeling. Didn't you love Rose? No, she shrugged. I only loved her as a friend. I was never jealous of her choosing Greg. But you knew I was jealous, didn't you? Spinel gripped their legs tighter. Yeah, back when I was cuter and less of an emotional wreck. I saw the look in your eyes. I wasn't happy of you, of course, but I said nothing, though. Pearl lifted her head, tilted her head. Why? Spinel's eyes glistened. Because I respected you. Maybe because if I didn't call you out, that everything would be okay. Her own tears began to spill. I guess I was wrong. Pearl gasped and wrapped her arms around the pink gem. The two of them were crying and watching the full moon hung above them. The pink motive of sky scattered with stars. Pearl, Spinel whispered quietly. With the whole world except Pearl couldn't hear it. Remember this. Back on homeworld. The days you and I talked. Pink was away? Yes, Pearl responded. Her voice was quite as Spinel's. Spinel nuzzled her head closer to the tiny smile lifting up on her face. Remember that cretin quartz being lectured by that fire I gate? She sure told her. The two gems giggled at the memory. Oh, and that one the time you caught Yellow Pearl posing, sitting in the picture in the mirror, and you even got Blue Pearl the sketcher? You didn't even get caught. They both laughed and imagining a look on Yellow Pearl's face if she did catch them. Spinel snuggled closer to Pearl. I'm so glad we're here. It's sad to think of it if we haven't, she trailed off. The pale gem knew just what to say. Yeah, but I don't regret leaving that place. It's all worth it. Agreed? Spinel? Yeah? Pearl gazed up with glistening eyes. I'm sorry for yelling at you. Pearl smiled softly. I'm sorry too. Spinel took at least a few minutes to stare at her work. After pulling out the old aged dirt out of the old patches and replaced it with the new, fresher dirt, all that she needs to finish is the other side of the garden. Then add fertilizer. Her phone rang. Sighing, Spinel picked it up. Hello? Spinel! A frill panic in Pearl's voice scared her, but she caught her on the phone before she dropped it. What? What? She asked. It's an emergency. Spinel stared at the giant green hand at the sky. Even though it was miles away, she already felt the dread of crawling up her back. No, she whispered. This can't be happening. Well, it is, said Garnet. Pearl walked over to them. Light the cannon. Are the light cannons ready? Guys, Stephen called out. He and Greg ran over to them. Stephen then saw the horror in the pink gem's eyes and pulled on her dress. Spinel, what is that thing? It's a ship, Pearl answered, knowing that Spinel was too frightened to speak. We can only assume it's Peridot. Lapis told us she'd be coming, Garnet explained, with advanced weapons and reinforcements. Spinel clasped her head, and ignoring the gem's conversation in her head, images of the fellow rebels fighting against the home world gems played. Seeing large and black and white gem could only hold down a purple blur instantly. An orange and beige shape appear right in front of her, blurred in the spoke of the series of grunts. Its tone was furious and mocking, a helmet summoned by ready to attack. Spinel, MFS shook Spinel out of her thoughts. We're gonna try to take down the ship. Are you doing okay? Seeing the purple gem's concerned expression, Spinel caught her off breath. I'm fine. Let's do it. Ready for the cannons? Ordered Garnet. Pearl then pulled out a remote lever, and the Quarantines cannons lined up under the deck of the beach house. Along with MFS pushing out onto the porch, Spinel stood by Pearl and Greg, trembling. Garnet looked at the boy. Stephen, light them up. Nodding his head, Stephen walked over to the walkie-talkie. If every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have such hot dogs. All the cannons were activated and even fired at the beams of the light. Unfortunately, he had formed a palm, which of course the beams had no effects to it. Then the hand descended to pointing its index finger. Garnet looked up through the telescope. No effect. What? Screeched Spinel, grabbing her pigtails in distress. How did that not work? This is it. This is it. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. She kept repeating the same words over and over again, falling to her knees and hyperventing. Spinel! Spinel! Stephen Finn yelled, rushing towards her side and embracing her. She didn't respond. Pearl's worry grew. Oh, Spinel. Garnet, what are we gonna do? We must take them head on, but we can't allow any of citizens of the beach to be in the middle of it. They need to evacuate. As Stephen and MFS were trying to calm Spinel down, Greg got his phone and called the mayor. Hours later, as the mayor Dewey was telling everyone that they need to leave Beach City, Stephen kept his phone out as the gems were stuffing the van with luggage. Spinel was still not over what was happening. Why? Why is this going wrong? She whispered to herself. Everything was so perfect before that gremlin showed up. Spinel looked up, meeting the boy's gaze. I have to go with Greg. Garnet says I can't stay. the pink gem hold behind her breath. Then I'm coming with you. I can't stand to... No, Garnet made her stop. You need to stay and hold us back that hand. We need all your strength you can give us. But Garnet, Spinel, I know you're scared, but we need you. You've done everything you can for Steven, and sacrificing him for him will be worth it. Spinel stared at the Garnet with horror, but slowly complied, turned to Steven and crouched down, kissed his forehead, and then she held up his cheeks to gaze at him. Please be okay, Steven whispered, the lights dancing in his eyes. I will, Spinel mumbled back, nuzzling his head. I love you so much. I love you too, Steven replied softly, slowly letting go and walking backwards towards the van. Spinel stood up and stared after him with a heavy heart. After the other gems said their goodbyes to the boy, Steven even got to the van with his father. She could see that Steven was leaning against the window as they drove off. His face has barely made her break into tears. Spinel placed a hand on the upside-down gem as Pearl wrapped her arms around her from behind. Garnet and MFS shared off their grief as Steven was leaving. Spinel held the pink gem's arms. I never got the chance to say how he was like my own son. All right, Garnet stated. Let's pull it together. All the crystal gems turned around their attention back to the giant hand, and they knew what they had to do. Pearl and Spinel both fused their embrace, while Garnet and MFS grabbed each other's hands and fused. Then they both silhouetted into Peach Moonstone they formed, and they glanced at each other, nodded wordlessly, preparing their weapons. Peach Moonstone threw spears at the warship, leaving no effect. Silhouette swung at her flail at it, only to have the same results. Are you serious? Silhouette exclaimed in frustration. And that was actually a good throw too, Peach Moonstone shouted in agreement. The warship picked up speed. Heading towards with his finger point, all the fusions could do was just stand and watch. At least Steven's safe, Spinel's voice was heard over Peach Moonstone's. Hey guys! The fusions froze and saw Steven warning towards them out of shock. They both unfused and Spinel ran up to Steven. Steven, she screamed, unsure of joy and fear. You shouldn't be here. You came back, MFS shouted. Pearl stood up, recovering from her separation. Get out of here. It's too late, Garnet screamed, seeing that the hand approaching closer. Spinel even clutched Steven as if her life depended on it. The giant hand was landing on the sand, forced the gems to stance back away. The clouds of dust and sand even forced Steven to shield his eyes. From the palm of his hand, a bubble appeared and floated over the index finger, causing it to lower until the bubble faded, revealing the 3 gems. Stop the finger, Peridot appeared. That's them. They're the ones that keep breaking my machines. A larger gem also approached them at the crystal gems. This is it? Her voice was deep and gruff. Spinel hissingly recognized and hugged Steven tighter. Jasper, Peridot complained. They keep interfering with my work. Jasper sighed and stood forward. Looks like another waste of time. Hey, get out of here! She then turned around and dagged her at another gem out. The gem broke out of the larger gem's grasp and gasped when they saw the group. Lapis, Steven and Spinel whispered. Is that their base? Jasper inquired. Lapis looked away in guilt. Yes. You need to leave immediately, Garnet yelled. Yeah, MFS joined in. Step off. Of course, Spinel shielded Steven with her arms. You two don't belong here. This is not a gem-controlled planet, Pearl cried. Ignoring their demands, the newcomers and Lapis leapt down from the finger onto the beach. Jasper glared and crossed her arms at Peridot. And neither of you saw Rose Quartz? Oh, such a shame. I hoped to meet her. I was looking forward to beating her to the ground. Spinel tensed up as Steven snuggled closer to her. But this was all was left of the armory? Some sort of defective pearl and punny overcooked runt? This shameless display and little pink coward? Jasper stared hard at Steven. What was that? He's something. I won't let you hurt. Spinel angrily responded. Peridot scowled. It called himself the Steven. He's just a human, Lapis defended. He isn't like a threat to us all. He's not one of them. I know what a human is, grunted Jasper. You don't need me for this. Just blast them with your ship. As she slowly backed up onto the ship, Peridot complied and pulled up the screen. Fine. The giant manacled hand floated upwards towards the sky, the finger pointed right at them. At the tip of it began to glow, created energy, and ready to fire. Steven! Garnet shouted. Get out of here! No! Steven retorted, trying to move out of Spinel's arms, his gemstone shining. You're all my family. Spinel kept hugging him tighter. I won't let you die. Firing! Peridot calmly spoke as the beam shot at them. Stephen even broke out of Spinel's grasp and ran in front of the gems. I'm a crystal gem too! For a moment, it looked like the laser had blasted him. To much to Jasper's shock, he sees that Stephen summoned Rose's shield, protecting them from the blast. That shield! That symbol! Jasper yelled. Stephen groaned a bit, dispelling the shield, and fell. Spinel quickly caught him. The pink gem cradled Stephen close, and the other gems were surprised. Jasper immediately recognized who the shield belonged to. You have the power of rose quartz. Now do you believe I need an escort? Peridot sarcastically asked. Fire the barrager, Jasper ordered. Widespread. Peridot did what she was told, firing the laser blaster through the line of the beach. The explosion separated Spinel and Stephen from Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl. As the smoke cleared, Spinel lifted her head up and growled, clutching Stephen tighter as Jasper approached. Rose? Jasper snarled. Why do you look like that? He's not Rose, Spinel screamed fiercely. He's Stephen. Now get that through your thick head. Lapis ran up to Jasper. Please don't hurt them. You knew about this? It wasn't relevant on the mission. Forget the mission. Peridot looked up in shock. What? Jasper then turned on their attention to the crystal gems. Yellow Diamond needs to see the gem is about to get punched in the face. It says what? Jasper blinked, perplexed. What? She was met with a gloved fist, striking her in the face, knocking her backwards, shocking Pearl, Peridot, and Lapis. Spinel got up to her feet and approached them. Her expression warped into a fighting crow. If you want him, you'll have to get through me first. Jasper got up, recovering from the attack, and stared at the pink gem. Oh, please, you're Spinel. You don't have the large gem was cut off by Spinel's enlarged hands, grabbing her and pulling her close to her owner. Spinel then gave out the most frightening glower that she could ever muster, catching Jasper off guard before she can spin. Stephen and the other gems, Peridot and Lapis, all watch with wide eyes and mouths agape as Spinel tossed Jasper at the hand. The impact of the larger gem hitting and created a dent on the fingertip and fell to the sand. Jasper coughed in an attempt to stand up. Peridot panicked, trying to fire the laser once more, but the energy cracked and sparkled, revealing it to be unavailable to work. Want some more? Spinel mocked. Because I'm full of surprises. Growling, Jasper summoned her helmet to change towards the pink gem. Out of my way, she roared. Spinel held up her fists, blocking up her face as Jasper coiled into her. The pink gem kept leaping on her feet, only slightly moved back until she was close to Stephen. Stephen, run, now! Spinel turned around and yelled. Panting, Stephen did not move, only breathing heavily. Suddenly, Jasper was grabbed by Spinel by the throat and held her up. You're good. Spinel! No, Pearl wailed before she and Garnet and Amethyst all ran over to try to get help. Spinel struggled in her grasp, eyes wide in terror. But that not good enough, Jasper whispered as he slammed her helmet down into Spinel's head, causing her to poof, and her gem landed on the sand. No! Stephen wailed, reaching out to her gem. Mo. Jasper grabbed him by the shirt and lifted him up, grinning him viciously. At least all I can say right now that she has improved since our last encounter. I was there with her. At first on war with the garbage planet, and now you know what? I fought against your armies. I respect your tactics, but this is sick. As the free gems ran over with their weapons, Peridot was able to hold them off with the lasers and limb enchanters. I don't know what you're planning, Rose. Jasper continued, pulling the gem elasticer. But look, your base is taken. Your armies are ruined. You have failed. Before Stephen could do anything else, Jasper dispelled her helmet and the head-butted boy, knocking them down into silent darkness.